Before we get into the video, you know what to do. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Enjoy. Today on the food tour, we're going to shawarma land. You know, it'll be packed with flavors. So we've got some yogurt, we've got some special masala, some turmeric, we've got some paprika, we've got tons of spices, because all of these are going to first of all marinate into the chicken, and then we're gonna put it in our Weber so that it can cook for 3 hours. So as you can imagine, the flavors will be just amazing. You know, the fun fact is that I did not like shawarmas, and then when I was pregnant, I actually craved it because I had had it before and it was alright. It was okay, really. But when I was pregnant, I was craving things that I didn't like before. So I actually started eating these things because April told me to. So yeah, I did it. And yeah, now I fell in love with it that now I actually make it at home. So now I decided I'm gonna share some with you, some of these recipes that I ate when I was pregnant. As I mentioned in one of the videos previously, that I didn't like eggs as well. And since I had April, then now I eat eggs. So it's quite funny. And you might think this is a lot of oil, but remember, we want our meat to be juicy. We want it to cook through, and the oil is going to coat the spices to the meat, and it will just be amazing. We've got some pineapple juice as well to add a little bit of that flavor that you need. And how can I forget one of my favorite things? You think I put this in everything. I don't put it in cake or my desserts, but the rest of the food I do put it in, and it just brings life to the dish. All the dishes have life, but this one brings extra. You know, when you're playing a game and then they give you extra lives, this is what it does. And now we're gonna put some tomato paste there. All these things together would just make our chicken shawarma amazeballs. So good. It took a long time to make this because I hadn't gotten the chicken thighs and I wasn't finding the chicken thighs. So I found them at Checkers and they were so inexpensive. So if you want to make this, go to Checkers. And I prefer to use the chicken thighs, but you can also use the chicken breast. Chicken thighs, they stay juicy longer than the chicken breast. That's what I think, but I could be wrong, and I stand to be corrected. Look at our marinade sauce, and now we just pour it. So this was 2.5 kg of chicken thighs. So you know how chicken thighs without the skinless and boneless, they look like they are very small. But when you start now, you know, stacking them, you realize, okay, this is actually quite a lot. So you just mix all this together. I wanted to mix with my hands, but then I thought, I've got white nails. All that turmeric was just going to, no, it was going to turn my nails yellow. So I said no. So I just used that and it worked. Now we just cover and marinate. So I marinated this for 2 hours. But as I said, the minimum is 1 hour and then maximum is overnight. So for overnight will be amazing. And then yeah, and there's my bestie being my right hand woman, or where we stand, yeah, right hand woman. And then she's just holding this for me so that I can just stack it all up. And yeah, it became too heavy, so we had to take it outside and then finish it there. This is some lamb fat. I saw this on Diners, Drive-Ins and Dives, and I thought it was a brilliant idea because the fat from the lamb is just going to drip on the chicken and give it extra flavor. And look at that, all done, all stacked up. Now we're just gonna cover this and let it do its thing. And while that is happening, we're gonna start with our pita bread inside. And then we need a cup of whole wheat flour and a cup of cake flour. You can also do just the whole wheat if you want to be healthy, but I find that when it's two flours mixed, it helps it not to be too heavy. There's our yeast, and I put some salt. As I mentioned, all this will be in the description, so you can just go and check them out, but watch the video because I give some small tips that you wouldn't get in the description. So enjoy the video. Now we just pour some water. So this water, as you notice now, I pour it very, very slowly, because if you just pour everything at the same time, when it's hot, it's like you use less water when it's hot than when it's cold. So just pour it slowly and keep mixing, and then see how it turns out. Otherwise, if you pour it all together and it becomes too runny, then you must add more flour and then stuff like that. So just put this amount and then just keep adding and adding and adding and adding. So I had realized that I had put quite a bit of water. So that's why I'm saying just keep pouring and checking and pouring and checking. So I ended up having to add a bit more flour just to make it nice and, you know, doughy. Now we're just adding some olive oil to give it a bit of life. Look at that. Now we're just oiling our bowl so that we can put our dough in there to rest for an hour. Look at that. It looks like it's a bit too runny or too soft, but it's okay, because once it's risen, you will, when you start shaping it and rolling it, you will add more flour, so it'll be okay. Just trying to take everything out of the bowl so I don't waste any food. I should have put more oil on my hand so that it doesn't stick this much, but yeah, it's okay. It worked in the end. And I just wash my hands and then just cover it. So we put a bit more oil on top, because remember, it's got whole wheat. You don't want it to dry up and become like a rustic feel on top. Now we just cover it with a cling wrap. You can also cover it with a wet towel. That'll also be fine, and just leave it at room temperature. If it's hot, if it's cool, because now we get into winter, you can just put it in the microwave. Let's go check on our meat. Look at that. The golden color. It's gorgeous. Now we just leave it to sit more. Now time to shape and bake. I had already preheated my oven here for 30 minutes on 250 degrees. Because it's like a pizza, you know, when you need it to be hot, because it's in and out. 6 minutes, it's in and out. It just puffs up, goes up, and then it's out. So it's very fast. So now we're adding more flour there, so it's holding nicely. Even when you cut it, you just put it on the side where there's flour, otherwise it just sticks to the counter, which can be a bit of a pain. So remember the flour, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. We're just taking each one and just shaping them first, and then just like a nice circle, because then when you're rolling it, you get a nice shape. If you just roll it whatever shape it is, then it doesn't come out okay. Then we just add a bit more flour on the counter before we roll it. Yeah, if you don't put flour on the top, then it gets stuck to the rolling pin. Now we just roll it until it's nice and thin, and then we put it. Rolling it nice and thin will help it to puff up nicely. Even your, what is this, naan bread, you need to roll it quite thin so that it can also puff up like this. There we go. Let's see what happens in 6 minutes. Check that out. Look at that, all puffed up. Gorgeous. Ready for some stuffing. So beautiful. I don't do this every time because it's a bit time consuming, because I had to make the pickled onions. That video is also coming, so you can also check it out. The pickled onions, you can also use them for bao buns. You can also use them for this. Anything that requires pickled onions, you can use it for that. So now we're just making our yogurt sauce for the shawarma. Some yogurt, some orange juice. You can also use lemon juice. We also got some garlic, some mint. This, it just like refreshes the whole dish. So it is vital to have mint. Thankfully, I've got so many batches of mint outside. It just grows. When it rains, then you get a lot of mint. So this tzatziki spice, you don't have to put it. You can just put fresh dill. I didn't have fresh dill. If you do, then put that instead of this one. So I just put a little bit of this because it had dill in it. Some black pepper as well. And I also put a bit of honey just to sweeten the whole thing, because with the orange juice it wasn't that sweet, and you know, the yogurt, so putting a bit of honey just helps. Now we just mix all our ingredients. Oh, almost forgot the salt. Just put a little bit, season with salt. In all recipes that I've seen, it always says season with salt and pepper. So whoever created those two or figured out those two go together, well done. Well done to you, ma'am or sir. All right, look at that sauce. It's all ready now. Let's go check our meat out. And it looks ready. It looks amazing, balls. Look at that. Now it's time for us to assemble everything. We just start by cutting. So I'm cutting a small piece on the top. I'm not cutting it in half because I had enough. And then I just cut a small piece so that I can be able to put everything. Look at that hollow. Now we put our everything. The one thing that I forgot to put here on the counter was the chips. So there's also chips in here. That makes it authentic. My brother was saying that back in Germany, he works with people from different places, so he gets to taste their food. So when he tasted this, he's like, hey, I've got a friend of mine. I forgot one of the Middle East places where they make this. And he said, yeah, it tasted like that. And this is eggplant. I didn't have time to show it in the video or to actually shoot it, but I put it in the pan. I drizzled it with some olive oil. I put a bit of pepper and salt, and I put it in the oven. And then when it started crisping up, then I took it out and now I'm putting it here. It is a must-have. And thankfully I had these eggplants in my garden, so I could just quickly go and grab one. And they're so huge. So I went and I grabbed so I could come and do this. And yeah, it was amazing. Here's my pickled onion. You must check that video out because they go together with this. And some coriander from my garden as well. Hello, look at that gorgeousness. Now the chips were forgotten, but don't worry, I added them and we ate it. So remember the chips. Look at that gorgeousness. Please don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe, share it with your family and friends. Let me know what you think. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.